Remember when you were a little child and you were convinced that when you grew up you would be a singer or a dancer or even run away with the circus? Did you do it? And if not, what changed? I'm Zelda Saint-Wilde, and with over 20 years' experience as a professional performer, I'm fascinated with what it is that holds so many back from pursuing their passion and what it takes to live the life we all deserve. Ask yourself, what if you were born to do this? I'm going to start today's podcast with an observation and kind of a question. But if you think about it, do you not think that fear and excitement are essentially the same thing? So, yeah, okay, one might make you feel a little bit negative and one makes you feel positive, but think of it, how it actually makes you feel physically. It's the same kind of emotions that you're going through. You're still getting that, your heart speeds up, you breathe faster, you get that kind of weird feeling. You don't know if you feel sick, you don't know if you feel how you feel, you get butterflies in your stomach, whether that's like the first day at a new job or going on a date for the first time with like this person that you think is the best thing ever. Those feelings are very, very similar. But fear tends to hold us back from living a life of our dreams and going for our goals completely. So in that sense, this is where the negativity comes from. So what if we actually started reframing it in our minds and thinking, instead of it being something that we fear, how about we just trick ourselves and tell ourselves that it's something that we're excited about doing? That's what I'm wondering. Would that make a difference to us and make us do all these things that we want to achieve in life? All this goal list that we have. I'm Zelda Saint-Wilde. This is the Born to Do This podcast. And I'm just following up really from last week, because we was talking about in the last episode how we was going to go for that one thing that makes our soul shine and sing, and that we can't get out of our mind. Like, oh, I really want to write this book, or I would really like to live in this location, and if it feels like the reason you're not doing it is because you talk yourself out of it, either because you're scared or you don't know how, or a combination of all those kind of things, we was going to commit to ourselves that we were just going to do step one of climbing that massive mountain to that goal that's sat on the top of Mount Everest up there. We were just going to take that first step and commit to it. No buts, no problems, no what ifs, no, I probably can't, none of that. We were just going to do a step one. And that got me thinking of why we're not so open and willing to do this first step, or all the steps, always anyway. It seems like a no-brainer. If you want to do something, why are you not doing it? Why are you not giving it a go? Why are you not going to try it and just see what happens? And ultimately, at the end of the day, it comes down to fear. Fear, self-doubt, lack of confidence in your own abilities, maybe lack of knowledge, fear of failure, fear of what other people will think of you, fear of what's possible or being deluded. Fear. A lot of it is to do with fear. And that is crazy when you think about it. Because if you're afraid of failure, so you're not willing to give it a try, you have 100% made yourself fail, because you're not even giving it a go. So if failure is such an issue to you and you're worried about failure, why are you then just kind of going, okay, well, never mind, I'm worried about failure, so what is going to be the easiest way? Just to fail regardless, and then it doesn't really matter, it's out of my control. But it's not out of your control, it's completely in your control, because you've decided to let that fear of failure, win immediately and fail. Fear is something that we need to use to feel the fear and just go for it anyway. And instead of fear being something that's going to hold us back, to use fear in the same way we would use like adrenaline and excitement, and use it as fuel to really just like use that platform to jump us towards our goals, to make us take action, bold action, and to just go with it without any thought on necessarily what the outcome is going to be at this stage, just to take the action first and foremost. So there's many elements of fear that kind of hold us back from going for our goals and chasing our dreams. And I'm talking about fear, not phobias or fears in like a loose, like a wider, generalization of fears. I don't mean like fear of falling, fear of heights, fear of spiders. I'm talking about like fear that comes to do with being our best selves, that fear of going for something. And if you go all in and it doesn't happen, where does that fear come from? Is it the fear of failure? Is it people laughing and going, I told you so, or oh God, she thinks she's so good and look, it didn't work her way. What is it in your mind? Or is it this feeling of being like a fraud? Like, I want to do it, but I'm not very good at something like that. I don't, how would I do it? I'd be basically blagging to get away with it. You've got to kind of think of what that element for you is that's holding you back. And a lot of the time it is fear of failure. It's self-doubt, imposter syndrome of feeling like you're not worthy of it, or you're not good enough at it, or there's too many people better than you at it, the competitive side to things. And then there is also this feeling of judgment, of failing or letting people down, letting yourself down, or what people are going to say in the public. If it's something like you wanted to do something online and you're worried what people are going to say, whether you know them or you don't, or how would my family feel about that, or what would the people at work say about that? And if it didn't work out, they'd probably be like, well, obviously, But at the same time, let's just think, okay, so fear now is holding us back. What would happen if on that last day of your life, you looked back and you have a word with yourself why you didn't go for all those dreams and goals and ambitions you had? I think every single answer that we just discussed and just mentioned would seem really petty and silly. And if you had the chance to go back and do it again, you would. If it was like, oh yeah, but I thought everyone at work would laugh, would you even care on the last day? No. You probably wouldn't have even thought about all these people for years and years and years, Or you're like, oh, I was a bit embarrassed, or I didn't feel self-confident, or, oh, I didn't want to set myself up for failure, or I didn't want to think I was better than people. I didn't want to look like I had an ego. And, would any of these things matter on the last day of your life? No, I don't think they would. You have this one life, and it's something you've got to take by both hands and go for it. So just a couple of things that I want us to think about today is that even people on top of their game, athletes, big entertainers, all these people in massive businesses where they're dealing with crazy amounts of money, crazy amounts of staff, everything. Everybody's going to feel fear. Everyone's going to feel self-doubt. Everyone's going to fear failure. Everybody's going to feel these things. But what they're doing is they're changing it, and they're using that fear as fuel. They're using that fear as something that pushes them forward. They're feeling the fear. They're taking the fear on board, and they're running with it. They're not freezing. They're just running with it, and they're using it as adrenaline. So this is what I want you to take away from today, that we're going to start seeing fear as our friend. It's a positive thing. It's a positive feeling. It's a positive reaction. Fear is actually there to protect us, fight, flight, that feeling of, warning, or it wants you to react. So instead of using it as a reaction where we freeze and we don't do anything about it, we're going to use it to run and use it as adrenaline. So this fear that we're going to feel from now on, we're going to use as fuel. Okay. It's not going to hold us back. It's going to push us forward. And what I want you to start thinking of this week's exercise is going to be replacing that feeling of fear and just fake it till we make it and tell ourselves that it's excitement, even if it's terror. Okay. I want you to think, this is excitement. This is great. I'm really excited about this. Oh my God, I'm just so excited about this. And use it as your friend and to your advantage. So fear from this point on is going to be our fuel. It's going to push us. We're going to use that adrenaline and all those feelings, and we're going to go for it. And I promise you that If you say it enough, it's going to become second nature. And then you can start saying, this is something that I used to be afraid of. Get used to saying, this is something I used to be afraid of. Even if it petrifies you now, just start saying, I used to be afraid to do this. I used to be afraid to go live on my social media platform. I used to be afraid of standing up and speaking to everybody in the office. I used to be afraid of sharing my business idea with the boss. All these things, we used to be that. We're not that anymore. We used to be that. Okay. So, fear as fuel, feeling that fear and just going for it anyway. Starting to tell ourselves that the fear is actually excitement. And if we think of these things that scare us, we're going to say they used to scare us. They don't scare us anymore. They used to scare us. I used to be afraid of doing this. And let's see how we get on, because I promise it's going to make a big difference. So this week, can we all think of something that we're not doing because we're afraid of? And just like last time, take a step towards getting it done. Okay, I'm still interested in the goals you set yourself from last time, how you're getting on with those. Hope everything's going good. Hope everything's going well. Don't forget to tag me and include me, because I'd love to celebrate the small wins with you and make this a safe space. We can build a community and support each other on our journey to being our best authentic selves. So I hope that today's episode has given you some food for thought. And really what we want to be doing is thinking now with that in mind of how, if fear is holding us back, how we are going to just transform it into something that we can use for us rather than against us. And it's not going to be easy. It takes practice, and it is literally fake it till you make it. And until then, it's not going to feel like a quick fix. You're still going to feel the same feeling. You're still going to panic. You're still going to stress or sweat and worry. And this is just what happens. When I used to go to acting auditions and stuff, that was the worst thing. I used to get so worked up beforehand and sitting in this room, and then I would compare myself against the other girls that was going for the same role and be thinking, oh, well, she looks more like that character, or she looks like she knows what she's doing, or she looks really calm. And already then you just automatically put yourself on the back foot. That person could be the calmest person in the world. She could be the worst actress in the world. You know what I mean? You don't know. You're just judging these things and putting yourself down for no reason. But I used to get so worked up. And like my heart would be beating, my palms would be sweating. Then I'd be thinking, I don't remember the lines. I definitely don't remember the lines. And it's just a horrible feeling. And then when I started doing yoga, and the more I did yoga, the more I got control of my breath. And I used to sit there and used to like really deep breathe, like do real proper deep breaths, because breathing is another thing that goes with your subconscious, and it goes with how you're feeling. So if you're breathing fast, it's because you're in a fearful state or an excited state. So if you can really control your breathing and bring your breathing down, it's like you're tricking your brain into telling your brain that we're safe. We're safe, we're calm. We don't need to run off anytime soon. We're fine, we're chill. And then that will change the way your body's responding. So there's plenty of times where I had to sit and have a moment and just really breathe, like I was in a yoga class, and just try and trick myself that I wasn't in a line of actors to go and do an audition. And I mean, I'm obviously no big Hollywood actor, or she would have heard of me. So did it work? Did it not? I don't know. But no, it did. It did work. And it does work. So yes, I just thought I'd share that with you anyway. But keep in touch. Keep in touch with me on the socials. Saint-Wilde on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, everything. Would love to speak to you. Would love to hear from you. And hear about your interests, your goals, what you're setting yourself. If you're willing to share what you're afraid of, that would be amazing. Let's all support each other. We're in this together. So yes, remember, fear is not a stop sign. It's a green light. Go for it. Let's get stuff done this week. Yes. And on the next episode, we're going to talk about how confidence comes from taking action, not the other way around. So don't miss that. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. It's also available audio-wise on Spotify and all the main audio channels. So I would love to hear from you. Let's connect, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.